What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major stuff to discuss here for you guys in this video. Also, we'll talk about some details on some checks going out to some Americans that you might not even know about here in this video as well. So, thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. It really helps out our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. And if you haven't subscribed yet, thank you so much for clicking the subscribe button. It just makes it so you won't miss out on our new YouTube videos that come out here every day. Normally, videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been a little bit under the weather, to say the least. But I want to bring you guys details of what has been going on here in our country. So let's jump right in. Here we go. Okay, so President Biden and the US government has made it so Chevron, a major oil company, has been allowed to resume a key role in Venezuela's oil output and exports. Here's the details on this. Yes, Chevron Corporation, an oil conglomerate, on Saturday received a U.S. license allowing the second largest U.S. oil company to expand its production in Venezuela, which was previously banned, and bring the South American country's crude oil to the United States. This is a little bit controversial, or a lot controversial. You can let me know your thoughts here on this. The decision grants broader rights for the last big U.S. oil company still operating in the U.S.-sanctioned Venezuela. However, it restricts any cash payments to Venezuela, which could reduce the oil available to export. License terms are designed to prevent the state-run oil Petroles de Venezuela, known as PDVSA, from receiving proceeds from Chevron's petroleum sales, U.S. officials said. The license lasts for 6 months and will be automatically renewed thereafter, or until the U.S. says that they no longer want the license to be there. The U.S. authorization brings added transparency to the Venezuelan oil sector and allows Chevron to benefit from sales of oil that is currently being produced by its joint ventures there in Venezuela, the California-based company said in its statement. This comes following oil sanctions on Venezuela in 2019. Chevron received an exemption to trade its Venezuelan crude to recoup pending debts, but those privileges were suspended a year later. Chevron's 4 joint ventures produces about 200,000 barrels per day of crude oil and exported the crude around the world prior to the sanctions. Now, these terms bar Chevron from helping OPEC members develop new oil fields, but provides a way for the company to recoup some of the billions of dollars owed by them through the oil sales. It also allows the U.S. company to import supplies to help process the country's crude oil into exportable grades. Now, this is controversial because Venezuela and their president, which was elected back in, I think, 2018, was not elected properly and has clung to power with help of Iran and even Russia. So you can see the the likes of who they consort with and who their allies are. Yeah. So the problem here is that we have not really been privy to taking their oil, but Chevron already has a presence there and has been wanting to recoup their losses there. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation, to say the least. You guys can let me know your thoughts here. So Also, this could bring in about 200,000 extra barrels of oil a day. Remember here that OPEC and Saudi Arabia and OPEC Plus, which is Russia, recently cut production worldwide by 2 million barrels per day. 2 million barrels per day. Okay. And we're going to get comments in the comment section, but Jimmy, what does that matter? We produce our own oil here in the US. And granted, we do. Okay. But remember that oil is a global price here. Okay. So when they cut production by 2 million barrels per day, that basically rises the price of oil globally. Okay. Because remember that the price of oil is like the price of a stock. Okay. Think of the price of Apple stock, the price of an IBM stock, the price of Google stock. The price of Google stock is worldwide. If you were in Europe and you wanted to sell Google stock, let's say it's $100 a share. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, it's worth what it's worth. And the same thing is the price of a barrel of oil. Okay, if you're in the U.S., the price of a barrel of oil is basically worth the same anywhere worldwide. Okay, now of course there's different currencies. If you're U.S. dollar, or the yen, or the ruble, or of course there's different currencies, right? But for the most part, a barrel of oil is it's a worldwide thing, and that's why when OPEC Plus cuts oil production for the world by 2 million barrels per day, it helps prop up the price of gas and keeps it higher even for us here in the United States. Okay. And remember that we're not buying oil from Russia, which we were buying a little bit of oil from Russia, anywhere from 5 to 10%, somewhere around 7 or 8%. We're not buying any from them now, but we were because pretty much um, we would pretty much buy oil from anywhere around the world, for the most part, a little bit from anywhere around the world. But the oil companies actually control what happens with our oil. It's not really President Biden or the U.S. government for the most part, or even when Trump was president. Okay, the president doesn't really control this stuff. Okay, and the president also, whether it's Trump or Biden, also doesn't really control how much oil we produce. Okay, it's the oil companies. It's the oil companies. Okay, and this is um, this is an interesting kind of thing that a lot of people don't realize. The oil companies control how much they produce and how much they don't produce. Okay. Now, when it comes to OPEC and OPEC Plus and all of those countries over there, they can collectively make a decision to up and down their production over there, because that's a different run thing than the U.S. over here. The U.S. government doesn't really control our production. We're not a government-run, government-controlled oil production. So there are some countries that literally they own the oil production. The U.S. does not own the oil production. Okay, the U.S. can limit the oil leases and stuff like that. But there's actually thousands of oil leases that the oil companies here don't even use. And I get there's going to be a lot of politics and stuff like that here. Um, but the oil production it's a long, long story here. But for the most part, remember that the oil companies and the pharmaceutical companies, they're not your friend. They do everything they can to get as much money and profit out of you guys that they can. So remember that. In fact, this year they've made more money than ever. The oil companies, And last year, well, not necessarily last year, but this year for sure, they've made more money than they ever have before. Record profits. So just keep that in mind. Next up, protests erupting across China in unprecedented challenge to Xi Jinping's zero COVID policy. Yeah, literally as of today. Literally as of today. Yeah, so you can take a look here at this footage of what is going on here in Beijing and the type of protests and lockdowns that they are having there. Uh, yeah. So just imagine if this was going on here in the U.S. They have tens of millions of people in lockdowns there, and people are, I guess, finally getting fed up with it. Here, take a listen.
I can't overstate just how shocking it is to hear this crowd in Shanghai, China's wealthiest and most cosmopolitan city, and that chanting happening in a central, upscale part of the city to be directly calling out for Xi Jinping to resign. I mean, this is virtually unheard of. And in China, it is extremely dangerous to publicly criticize the party, especially Xi himself. You risk prison time or even worse. Some protesters also chanted they don't want COVID tests, they don't want dictatorship, they want freedom and democracy. Witnesses told CNN as well that rows of police officers were making arrests, forcefully pushing protesters into police cars. But the next day on Sunday, hundreds of Shanghai residents returned to continue protesting despite heavy police presence and roadblocks. Videos also showed some protesters violently dragged away, and now that area has been mostly cordoned off. But what we're seeing is this tipping point across the country after years of suffering and deaths during lockdowns because people struggle to get food, necessities, and emergency care in lockdown, Paula.
Yeah, quite a different world from what we're dealing with over here. And here it is. We're going to be going into 2023 here soon. And that's what they're dealing with over there. So you think about our lockdown that we had all the way back in 2020. Well, what was that? March, April of 2020? And here we are going to be going into 2023. And this is what China's dealing with now. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Right now, that's literally happening right now. So let me know your thoughts. Tens of millions of people under lockdown. And it's honestly shows no signs of stopping. Next up, Helping Hand. Lump sum payments between $450 and $1,500 available to some Americans. See how to apply beyond the original deadline. Here is the details on this one. Many Americans are eligible to apply for a lump sum payment of up to $1,500. This is just one of, if you've been watching my channel, I try to keep you up to date here on all these different programs and stories like this. And the original deadline for this program has been pushed. There's many states that have programs like this that I keep you up to date on. A $2 billion funding program was approved earlier this year, so New Jersey residents can apply for tax rebates even beyond the deadline. $2 billion. New Jersey residents can get up to $1,500 if they are homeowners. There will be roughly 870,000 New Jersey homeowners who will get $1,500, but they have to make below a certain amount. The original deadline was pushed by a little over a month to 2023, so don't wait any longer. Homeowners who earn $150,000 or less will get $1,500, while those who earn between $150,000 and $250,000 will get $1,000. For renters who earn up to $150,000, they will get $450, and there are about 900,000 renters who will receive the payments. To qualify, residents must have owned or rented a property from October 1st, 2019. People should expect the payments in May of 2023. The original deadline for the tax rebate was December 30th, but now it's been pushed to January 31st, 2023. With this extension, this will give more Jersey residents time to apply for the rebates. So share this video with anybody you know that might be eligible for this. To apply, just Google the New Jersey Anchor program, ANCHOR. It's the Affordable New Jersey Communities and Homeowners for Renters program. Um, and you'll find this. You can file by phone and stuff like this here. But you need to go to the New Jersey Division of Taxation website to get more information. And I'll keep you up to date here with every single state and federal program going on like this that could put money in your pocket. So make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. Just click the subscribe button, then the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And here is another video with multiple different checks going out to millions of people that you should watch next. So click on one of those videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.